Derek, I heard you say once in an interview, it's very hard to put Nectar in a box. We cover the spectrum, we get labeled prog, we've got a lot of different time signatures, but I guess the question is, how would you describe Nectar?
Oh, Nectar is very freeform. It's uh, it's whatever's happening in our heads at the time. It's not. We didn't see that every album was different. We just saw that that's what we were doing at the time. That's why I said that I like every album because in that time that's where our heads were at. So I don't think that we have a specific groove. It's the Nectar groove. It's how we feel. I mean, you listen to all the different things we play in the other side. It goes right from one end with "I'm on Fire," which is very rocky, to "Drifting," which is in 5/4/4/4 or 9/8, which makes it drift because it's not. It's very hard to tap your foot to it. Let me put it that way. So I don't. I wouldn't like to try and put it in a box. I would rather call it Nectar music. If we put ourselves in a box, then people expect us to do that kind of stuff. And the way we are now, it's always going to have a melody. It's not going to be monotonous. Not going to be monotone. Not going to be everything in 4/4. It's going to be different in that way. But we're going to do it how we feel it works. I like to play something that's going to jerk somebody out of the seat and they're going to go, what? You know, yeah, and the way you do that is write the music to be somewhat unexpected.
And Prague just leaves you wider parameters when you put it in that box and say, oh, well, it's Prague. There's freedom. You're not limited by certain things as if you were to call it smart pop or something. So it is just plain good music, but Prague to me is just music that takes advantage of the technological advantages that are around at the time, makes use of them, a little on the cutting edge, but without boundaries, because there's a lot of prog now that's actually mimicking itself. A lot of people are bringing back some of the cliche stuff, but that's not what Nectar is doing. It's not what a lot of the good bands are doing. They're playing their older material, but their new stuff, they've grown. Technology is different. They're getting new sounds and moving forward. So, and that was the whole thing, being in front of things. Sometimes Nectar was very groovy and rock, funky, great, almost like, well, it's a rock band. And then they'd break off into 5/4 or something, or stops or superimposing things. And it's just something, and that's the magic of it.
The Beatles have made it happen. The Beatles were the ones that made it popular to be writing your own music. Before them, there was nobody writing their own music. And bringing back to today, now Nick Mason's out with his Saucer Full of Secrets band, who are playing some of the very early Floyd, which I find really interesting.
Really inspiring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very inspiring. I mean, the guy, when we played the Town Hall in New York, we played in 2003, I think it was, and Nick Mason came to see the show. They're Floyd fans of ours, and we're fans of theirs. I mean, it's the music is an extension of your life. You want to have something with melody, and you want to have something that's a little bit off tilted and a little bit different time signature, and it's going to float and it's going to join together in an unusual way, and it just feels good to play, and that's really where we're coming from.